Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Success Life Live. My name is Eric Reed, and I am your host. And just stopping in and saying hello, I appreciate that so much. Yesterday, it was funny. We talked about having to stop in and make at least 2 or 3 commitment comments or comments about what you saw, what you learned, what you were doing, because it required you to become engaged. And somebody sidelined me afterwards, sideline meaning they sent me a private message and they said, I've been watching you forever and this is the first time I made a comment and it felt so good. And I sort of laughed because it's that first time you raise your hand when you're taking a course or learning something new or in a group, and it says that you feel like you might have finally got it. You're beginning to arrive. So I'm going to encourage you, always when you watch Success Life Live, whether it's in the live or in the rebroadcast, make a comment, raise your hand, say good morning. If nothing else, say, I am here. Because that's what this is about. This is about building a community of like-minded people focused on building a life of success. And we can only do that when we intentionally engage with one another. Nothing happens until we come in contact with each other. Good morning, Miss Melanie Massey. And yep, y'all see, I don't know, I feel like the weathercaster that lost their screen. So all of this fabulous artwork behind me, everything you want is on the other side of fear, and all of the other great quotes that fill our house actually came from Miss Melanie Massey's Creation Station. So, and she will be at IMC this week, I'm sure, creating fabulous artwork, quotes, and inspiration. And pick up one thing. If nothing else, just pick up one thing from Creation Station, because I like having touchstones. I'm a person that needs something physical in my life to remind me of a place, a time, a thought. I don't know, maybe it's supercharged. And so as you go through the week down at IMC, if you're attending JMT IMC this week, think of a word, think of a thought, think of an image, think of something that really signifies the week for you, and then stop over at Creation Station. Melanie and her team will find something that corresponds at the best and most connected level, so that when you get back, it doesn't become an event. That becomes the first stone in a building block of transformation. That becomes your starting point. You know what? This signifies to me blank. And so, it sounds silly, but it really does make a difference when you have something like that. Yes, Elizabeth, it is Tuesday. It is time for Success Life Live newsletter to go out. And so I hope you've subscribed to that, Eric G. Reed /subscribe, and you'll get it. And so let's get on to today's lessons. I feel like you're welcome, Melanie. So there are things, and if you came to my space or you came to my office, you would see that some people would think it's a clutter page. But there are connection points and significant things that I keep near me and around me and visually available to me, so that when I need to see something, when I need to focus something, when I need to draw in energy, I have it. I have, objects that people might walk in and think there's what is this? But to me, it's so charged with a moment. It's so charged with an energy. It's so charged with something that looking at it reminds me and connects me and grows me. So yeah, your artwork is one of those things. Good morning, Miss Lisa. She's probably making duck under smoked glass with wild truffled mushrooms that she collected on her morning jog this morning. Lisa Washington, if you're somebody that loves cooking, loves food, and loves just looking at pictures of food, y'all need to follow Miss Lisa Washington. She just shames us all. She shames us all. Oh, I'm going to make gluten-free Rice Krispie bars with ganache and white chocolate something or another. I don't know. It's look, lady, I'm lucky to get through the grocery store and not have 20 boxed items in the grocery cart. But she is an inspiration, because this is someone who fell in love with cooking and took it to the degree that she now publishes in recognized magazines, and has been on Food Network challenges. She has worked, she has hustled, she had grunted, she has grind, she has shown up with just barely able to get out of bed because she made a commitment to follow her dreams, and she is living at large, and it is showing up. So follow her for inspiration, if nothing else than good recipes. More Joy Studio. More Joy Studio. So today's lessons, I'm sorry, Lord, we just go rabbit holing today. I love rabbit holing. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, everybody else. So you need to be intentional about your growth. And I had sort of spoke into this in the comments that are below, but it's not going to happen accidentally. And so many of us wake up more like, I'm on a vision quest. I'm on a dream builder. I'm going to be somebody new, different, bigger, better, whoever I was than yesterday. And literally, I could pick up your calendar and say, show me where. Like, show me where today that's going to happen. Well, it's just my intention. It's my hope. It's my dream. It's my desire. I'm living intentionally. Show me where. And I will beat and I will tap your calendar until my finger bloods, because I can guarantee that for 80%, maybe 90%, maybe even as high as 95% of you, there is not a spot in your calendar today that is specifically marked for personal or professional growth, where you have sat down for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 2 hours and said, this is my growth zone. This is what I'm putting into it, and this is what I want to get out of it. This is how I'm showing up, and this is how I want to leave out of it. Does your calendar, and mine is over here, and I'm not going to reach for it, does your calendar literally have written into it at some point today, this is where I am growing? We wake up and we're like, I'm going to be a better person today. I have a sticky note on my bathroom mirror that says, I will live inspired. I will manifest. I will focus, whatever. And I support that, and I believe that, and I fall into that, and I'm with you guys. But if you want to grow, you need to show up and do the work. And I say this in part because, as a dad, and I got a 9-year-old, he's 10 now. Every night I have written into my schedule, his schedule for personal growth. And what I want him to learn, and how I want him to learn it, and what our goal and what our outcome is. Because it's not going to happen accidentally just because he gets off the school bus and goes through life. He is not going to grow to become the person that I want him to become. And I don't mean that in a manipulative way, so don't send the emails. But somebody has got to be guiding and teaching him, and somebody has got to be doing it intentionally if they want results that will change. I got to take a quick pause out and say, Mike, what you did the other day at 50 and 50 and standing in front and telling your story and inspiring others, brother, you did the hard work. Just keep pushing forward, one day at a time, one day at a time. Anyhow, and that was somebody who was intentional about their growth. They made a commitment to say that the life that they're currently living isn't the life that they want to continue to live, and they set on their calendar appointments and places and people that they had to engage with and show up as a learner, not as a leader, so that they could leave as a better leader. Are you scheduled to show up anywhere today as a learner? Where on your schedule are you scheduled to learn? Whether it's about your fitness, your finance, your health, your family, your faith, where have you said today, this is where I show up as a learner? And as a learner, I show up not knowing it all and accepting the fact that I will be in a state of confusion during a period of it. Because this state of confusion tells me that I'm going into a place that I have never been before. And so I welcome the state of confusion. I welcome the state of unknowing. I welcome the state of loss of control. I welcome all of the things that used to make me uncomfortable, because they are transforming me into the person that I want to become. And so I show up today at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 9:45, 5:55, 7:12, whatever it is, intentionally focused on learning and being the learner. Because when I become the learner, then I become the leader for other learners. Whether they're the people in my family, whether they're people in my company, whether they're the people I interact with. Yeah, good morning, Louis. I am going to show up somewhere today as a learner. And I'm going to show up tomorrow somewhere as a learner, and each day thereafter if I expect to grow. Good afternoon, Justin, or good morning, Justin. Congratulations on your award for you're in the local real estate market. Phenomenal in-town agent if you're looking. We need to be intentional. And I don't mean this kind of intentional, like, oh, today I'm going to make sure that I don't curse out the people in front of me as I drive down the highway. That's cool and that's fine. But we have to be intentional about learning if we expect to be to be entitled to the growth that comes from it. So I want to ask you, I want to challenge you, I want you to screenshot, post below, I have scheduled today from blank to blank to show up as a learner with the intent of acquiring, learning, changing this in my life so that I can become this. And if you're not doing it, if you haven't made that commitment, if it's not in your calendar, stop and figure out where it's going to show up today. And then schedule it through the rest of the week. Give yourself a personal challenge that I will commit 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, whatever you have available, to becoming a learner, to finding opportunities to be present as a learner, not as a leader, not as an expert, not as the best, but to be present back on that elementary school mentality of sitting there, receiving and asking questions so that you can become better and more knowledgeable. Because the life that you want is going to require that you become somebody new, and that's not going to happen by accident. That's only going to happen when you become intentional. That's only going to happen when you take specific actions, regardless of how you feel, to show up as a learner. It's going to require that you might have to get up a little bit earlier, turn off the Netflix, dial down the sports radio, and say, you know what? I would rather be a learner and a leader tomorrow than stuck where I'm at for the next 5 years. All right? I'm just speaking from experience. Just speaking from what I'm doing every single day. My calendar, like I said, I jump off camera. At least it would have my, like, you never leave the camera. You set up your table in front. But anyhow, I have specific 2 spots today. 2 different things that I'm going to be showing up as a student. What I'm going to learn, what I hope to learn, how I plan to apply this to my business and to my life. And I have it scheduled out. I go in and I specifically time block it in my Google Calendar so that nobody can book an appointment into that spot through my Calendly thing. That way I know that, wait a minute, nobody's going to be allowed to interrupt it unless I have interrupted it, allowed it to be interrupted. And if I allow my learning time to be interrupted, then what I'm saying is I'm not worthy of investing in myself. And how are other people going to invest in me if I don't invest in me? Like, really? You're going to bet on me when I'm not willing to bet on myself? You're not going to follow me if I stop growing. You're not going to be influenced by me. I'm not going to be influenced by me if I get stagnant. So figure out where you need to get intentional in your learning. Figure out what you want to grow. And don't worry, you don't have to do it all at once. You can find a particular area, a particular thing, a pain point that you're like, man, I am tired of not understanding how to do this Facebook Live thing, or how to do a podcast, or, cook a fish so it doesn't taste like the bottom of somebody's shoe. My kids are so blessed with my inability to cook. They have learned grace to other human beings through my cooking, just so you know, Lisa. But find one area that you want to change in your life. And then say, okay, I'm going to commit to learning this for the next 5 days, next 10 days, next 11 days, whatever it is. And dive in and get it done. It's not that hard. Set up a personal challenge. It's funny because, and I mentioned the Facebook Lives, because I know, good morning, Miss Joyce. Good to connect. Somebody the other day said, I don't know how to do this thing, this Facebook Live. So we did a private Facebook Live, like we would be doing it real, and I showed them how to set it up, and then went through it, and they were like, oh, that was so easy. And I asked at the end, I'm like, so how long have you been thinking about this? And they were like, well, I've been thinking about it for about the last year. I was like, oh my gosh, are you like serious? Like, it took you 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes between the ask and the coordinating and the completion to acquire this new skill that's going to open you up and give you new opportunities and transform the direction of you and your business and what you want to create. It took 15 minutes of learning, and you've been sitting on your hands, afraid to ask, afraid to learn, afraid to show up in an environment as a learner for over a year? People, let's get off our hands, start raising them and asking questions and looking for help and being bold and being courageous, and know that the universe will respond. All right? Now look at Miss Melanie. She accomplished something major this week with her 50 and 50 summit. She raised her hand a whole lot of times to get there. And she impacted the world. All right? That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to say. Find it in your schedule. Put it in your schedule. Make it happen in your schedule. If you need help with that, that's what I do as a coach. I help you find it, figure it out, and then hold you accountable to it. All right? Well, I will see you guys again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for another Success Life Live. Again, my name is Eric Reed. I am your host. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, it's not like just a bunch of junk, because it's not what I want to give you guys. I want to give you the best that I can give. Make sure you hit subscribe. I put like a little coaching tip, a little thinking tip, a little mindset shift tip, because I know that coaching is something everybody needs in one form or fashion, and I want to make sure it's accessible to you in a way that, every way that I can, through this live, through the newsletter, through one-on-one, through group, through speaking assignments. All right? So just go to ericgreed.com/subscribe, fill it out. You'll be on it. It's going to change up a little bit starting next month, I think is what it's scheduled for, but it's only going to get better and bigger. So hang on for that. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you again, Mike, for your inspiration, your leadership, your courage. I know what you did this weekend was freeing after a lot of fear. So I just want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge the journey that you're on, the courage that it's taking, the discipline and focus. It's not easy, brother. It's not easy, and you're doing it, and just keep on keeping on, all right? And Miss Lisa, please don't post anything that my children would want me to cook for dinner tonight. Shoot, we had grilled cheese with salted butter last night, and that was a big deal because it didn't burn. All right, thank you guys so much. Go out and live your success today. Again, my name is Eric Reed, and thank you for being a part of Success Life Live. Take a moment, share it out, leave a comment. Other people need to learn. Bye-bye.